This is an official presentation of SDR Insider. Welcome to Mac and Zach in the Morning, your home for all things sales, business development, and beyond. With over 4 decades of combined experience in the field, please welcome your hosts and daily practitioners of the craft, Mark Mack and Zach Bauer.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow, it's been a couple of weeks. Glad to be back in the saddle again, so to speak.
That's a song, man. It's good to be here. Had some unexpected illness, so that was fun. Missed the week before last, and of course Thanksgiving and all that. So hopefully everybody's well rested and pumped up to finish out the year. I can't believe we made it, dude. It's December 1.
It's unbelievable. I can't even, I remember in February, like when we were like, at Tidal and still like merging with Celex. And that was in February.
Seems like yesterday.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, I'm Joe Schmo today. We got a great show. We've got Jonathan Scott Lewis coming in from Canada. He is a BDR who I quite ironically was doing well, got even sent to a trade show somewhere. I don't know if it was exotic or not. We'll find out. And then comes home to being laid off. So this is a sad story. This is a story, not a sad story. This is a story that we hear a lot or we've been hearing a lot. And so we want to hear from Jonathan today, see what he's all about. Maybe there'll be some people in the crowd, or maybe we'll have a guest who might have a job opening that he could potentially shoot his shot for. So let's bring him in.
Morning, everyone. Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
What's up, Jonathan? So listen, man, I felt like incredibly horrible that like I, connected with you, invited you on the show. Of course, you're still an SDR at heart, so you've got a lot to add to the show, but definitely. I saw you post something about being at a trade show and having a great time, I believe. And then you come back.
Come back and I'm late.
Yeah, crazy. So this is what we've done, man. So I've got an acquaintance I met, and he is a BDR team leader. He's looking for a BDR to join his team. He works in in tech sales, essentially. And he's going to come on anonymously. He's going to talk a little bit about the role that he has available. And then you're going to get a couple of minutes just to shoot your shot. You want to tell him who you are, what you're about, right?
Well, if he wants to have the best BDR in his team, I'm your guy. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give you a couple of minutes to shoot your shot. Then he's got one question he always asks anybody that he interviews. So he'll throw that out you. And then depending on how that goes, he'll let us know if he'll be in touch with you. Okay, is that fair?
Perfect. That's more than fair. More than fair.
Right,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, first and foremost. Just to talk about the trade show, I had a great experience. It was a wonderful trade show. I got to book a whole lot of meetings for them. And next thing you know, we come back and they work us PM, and we have a meeting called analysis. Next thing you know, they're dissolving to let everyone go. So it was quite, but high hopes. Either way, I had a lot of eyes on me. I'm a person that I brand myself. I go out, I network. So when it came to trying to find a new job out LinkedIn or just on Indeed, it wasn't the hardest thing. Discussions right now with multiple companies, and they're just very intrigued by my drive. So, I'm real hopeful, and hopefully I can get number 5th. Let's pray for that.
Yeah, well, it's good to have some goals. So we've got an acquaintance of ours who is looking for a BDR on his team, and he's agreed to come on and listen to what you've got going on. I think he has some information about the role, and then he's got one question he always asks all of his candidates. So he's going to throw that out at you as well. And then you get a few minutes to shoot your shot. And then J-Man here will tell us whether or not he'll reach out to you. He'll probably tell us he'll reach out to you either way, but you have a live opportunity through SDR Insider to shoot your shot and maybe land yourself another opportunity in the pipeline. And so
can't wait for that.
You, Mr. J, take it away. What do you got? You got a role for us?
Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, Mark or Joe Schmo, whatever you want me to call you today. But
today,
happy to be on. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, so as Mark mentioned, I'm in a Slack group with Mark, and he reached out to me. I posted recently about my company, and we are looking for BDRs right now. We're actually looking for up to 3 BDRs across North America. We are a international software SaaS company. We provide a relatively technical product to a variety of industries with a long sales cycle, depending on what you consider long. What I usually tell people in terms of the role is the company is growing, which I think differentiates us from a lot of other companies out there, sadly. But we are growing. We do have funding, and we're looking to blow things up bigger and better for next year. There's a lot of opportunity in the role to grow. Just to give you an idea, I started out as a BDR in this company last year, and within 10 months, I got promoted. So if you do the work and you put up the numbers, thank you, and you impress people, definitely the opportunities there to grow into sales, CS, whatever kind of you want to do. Yeah. So in the end, though, the BDR role is the BDR role, right? It's going to be relatively similar to probably what you did before. We go to trade shows. It is a grind sometimes, lots of calling, lots of emailing. You'll likely at some point have some people hang up on you and call you all sorts of names, just like in any other BDR role. So,
definitely.
But the opportunity, I think, is good, and for people with the right fit, the opportunity is there to grow and really thrive in the company. The other thing I usually like to mention about the role is the company actually has quite a good culture. So we actually do work as a team. People are very helpful and supportive, and one of our tenets in the company is that we aim to win together. So it's obviously look at you individually, but also as a team, we want to see the whole team thrive, not just individual players here and there. So I think that's important as well.
That's how it goes, right? So from coming from a team sport and playing rugby and football, you understand that, right? So, being in a team, having that team momentum, if your other buddy's doing well, your other colleagues doing well. So, that's the fire with a BDR team, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So, in a typical interview, I get into all sorts of stuff about experience and metrics and all that, but I also do like to ask some questions to get to know you as a human, because I think that's important for the team. So the question I'm going to throw at you that I ask in every interview is, what motivates you to roll out of bed in the morning, sit at your desk, and put in your best effort beyond just paying your bills, which is fair. Everyone wants to pay their bills and make their money in sales. But beyond that, what drives you to try and put in your best effort day in and day out?
A lot of things drive me at the end of the day, but one thing, that gets me out of bed is, having that conversation that could open up I could sit down in a room that have, made a living, from the skills set that they learned as a BDR. They might, and now you sit down in a room and study, learn the skill with them. And at the end of the day, I just want to be the best. I read books like Jordan Belfort's book, The Way of the Wolf. He teaches you how to prospect. He teaches you how to be a shark. That's what I want to be. I want to be able to, regardless if it's just rejection or not, be positive and book the deal.
Great.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Jonathan, so we'll give you a couple of extra minutes to give us like your best foot forward, exactly why you would be a great fit for this guy's potential BDR role.
The reason why I'd be a great, I'm a chameleon, I could just wherever I need to be fit in, and if you guys need work done, I could get I don't complain much, I guess I wasn't given a lot as a so I know what gets you, and I know that you need hard work in order to keep the ball rolling. And that's what I have: dedication. I'm determined, driven, and sales. When I first got into the car, I upfrontly told the person I have no idea what I'm doing, and he said, "You know what? You have something about you. You have that energy." And my first month, I sold 20 cars. SaaS, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was just so driven, and I was told by everyone you have to be an expert in your field in order to dominate it. And that's what I did for the first 2 weeks. I studied the ins and outs. I was going through the PowerPoints, I was doing the demo calls, seeing how our product could beneficiate other people, see how our product can help other people. And that's my main goal at the end of the day. If I can help you and I'm happy with it. And if I can help your business, I mean, also it's being the helping at the same time, being selling with values and moral.
Word. Good stuff, man. So this was the first time we ever did something like this.
Yeah.
I think both parties were nervous a little bit, but I think it went down really well. Jonathan, putting your best foot forward. Love the enthusiasm, love the energy.
Appreciate it.
Certainly, obviously, a formal interview would get deeper into your skill set and how you can really help. But definitely love the thoughts. Big J, do you got any? Yeah.
May add something for Big J. When I first got to Tervene, which is AMS, so what we did was we digitized and centralized their operations using a lean-based daily management system. So most plant managers use paper and pen in order to conduct their audits, inspection runs. So what we did was we facilitated them with my first quarter there. I was supposed to book 22. My second quarter there, I was supposed to book 39 meetings, and I booked 47 coming in from the trade show. A 32 coming in from the trade show, so we're looking at 70 plus meetings.
Nice.
Conversion rate from disco to demo were around %. So finding my leads, I do my job. I make sure that my boss is happy, make sure I'm happy. And on the weekend meeting, I watch football, I go out with the family and I have fun. And then when it comes back to work, I grind. Something I want to add.
And you speak French too, right? English, French.
We
speak
speak
Spanish.
All
right.
Poquito español, so a little German, Italian. So io sono di Montreal. Sono 20 anni.
Awesome.
All right. Love it.
Well, hey,
All right.
listen,
Very cool.
I really appreciate you taking your shot. Jay, let us know if you want to be in touch with my man John, and we'll set you up offline.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first thing I'll say is I'm gonna have to send this podcast to my colleagues so they start calling me Big J, because I do like that. So I appreciate it. In terms of shooting your shot, Jonathan, I think you did pretty well. I'm actually going to be frank with you. The fact that you did car sales and you succeeded in that shows me that you're a real sales G, because car sales is one of, if not the hardest, places to succeed in sales for sure. That is the shark land, and if you can succeed there, then I'm impressed. Also, the company you worked for previously is semi-related to something we would do. So I think that experience would actually help you a lot. So I would definitely hook up with you offline. I'd love to look at your resume and then try and bring you to my HR team to see if I can get you in on an initial interview for sure.
Appreciate that, Big
Awesome.
J. Appreciate it.
Fabulous, man. Fabulous. Well, hey, I don't know, man. Zach, good. I'm speechless.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You're officially Big J as far as the SDR insider goes. Yeah, very cool. This is exciting. Look forward to hearing how that next conversation goes with you guys.
Definitely, and
yeah, very impressive.
Mr. Mac, experience with Honda. What happened there?
Oh, we'll talk about that. Big J, if you want to stick around, you're welcome to. But I know you got an 8:30 with your team, so really appreciate you coming on and giving John a shot. And yeah, you guys could connect on LinkedIn, and if not, I'll connect you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go look for you on LinkedIn right now. But yeah, I got a job. I got an 8:30 call with the team. But I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for reaching out, Joe Schmo and Jonathan. Look forward to talking to you. This was very cool. Thanks a lot.
Take care, man.
Yes, definitely. Cheers.
Thanks.
Kick off.
Take care. Bye.
Get him up the screen. All right. Well, hey, man, you did a great job. I feel so honored to be able to give you this opportunity. Again, obviously, we don't know if it's going to work out, but it's great to hear that you have other opportunities in the pipeline.
A whole lot there too. It's just as soon as I say I'm open for work, companies are messaging me. No way. What happened? Like, would you be able for? Oh, cow. Tomorrow, like, sure, tomorrow, and it's just going left and right on LinkedIn, and I make sure always show out the word of the day through. So I find people relate to it, which is good, I guess, and it will help the company, whoever. So I'm just super grateful, honestly, just for what's happening and all the positivity I'm getting.
Yeah. Excellent. What if anything, like has like what do you do you feel like it's the branding and the LinkedIn thing that has generated these opportunities for you, like these inbound? Are they inbound, or had you sourced them?
Well, definitely, but also just a grit. Like the second I probably applied to 50 jobs on LinkedIn and on Indeed. Jobs in the pipeline, and roughly 27 messaged me back. 7 now, moving forward 10. So it's like I always maximize my opportunity, maximize the possibility. So,
and that's crazy. Like you did
before.
And you did it like kind of the old school way, let me go to Indeed, let me just drop resumes, let me reach out and send resumes to this one and that one, and we talk a lot about, in other communities and stuff about, taking additional steps to find yourself a job, like getting on a podcast like this, or making a list of 5 or 10 companies you want to work for, go to Rev Genius, try to find out who knows who over there, and maybe get an interview without even a resume, or get a face-to-face without even a job being opened in some cases,
That too.
So,
yeah.
So I find it really interesting that you actually took the old school traditional approach and maximized it to the hilt, where you now have 10 opportunities in a pipeline. So it goes to show people out there that it doesn't, that if you're not a LinkedIn poster, or if you're not creating content, or if you're not, necessarily using your network, you can do the old school way and still be successful. Do you feel like maybe also it has something to do with the way you formulated your resume, or like, do you have it formatted a certain way?
Honestly, love interviews, man. I just love talking to people. I love interviews. I love having their point of views. I love sharing my point of views, seeing if I can help them at time. And it's just talking to different people and understanding the way they are and trying to give my 2 cents. I also love that too. So, giving just motivating the guys is something I love.
How many other people got let go from Tervene?
The whole team.
Oh,
wow.
So
maybe this guy could use 2 more. He said he had 3 openings. So when you get yourself settled, if you get
definitely
settled,
message the guys. So our whole team got dissolved, unfortunately. And like, I'm never someone that's gonna bash Tervene, just for what they did for me. They believed in me, when no one else was giving me a shot in SaaS. They saw that I was moved and bring change and bring it impact right away. So kudos to them. Appreciate you guys. But at the end of the day, I just gotta move on. Just try to build my boat, see where it goes from there. But the whole team, it was 6, 7 people.
7 BDRs.
7 yards, and they chose to supposed to go on you and strictly do inbound, which is, like, I guess that's how if they want to do it that way, they could do it that way, and gonna talk them. So at
No,
the end
are
of the
they
day,
using? Are they going with like content building and advisorship or
it's more
influencer marketing or what?
they're aiming for the French community, strictly not doing USA. They're going to be doing France and in order to contact, and I guess the C, and some of the executives are French nowadays. So I guess it's just, saving money, being efficient, one could say. But it was a shock to everyone. Trust me. It was when I walked downstairs and she was in disbelief. She couldn't believe it. She was like, "What do you mean? They showed you did so well." And I was like, "Yeah." At the end of the day, I think they had that planned out, and they knew that I was, the most outgoing. If we could just close it off with this guy, then why not? And I guess that's what happened. And can't take it personal.
No, it's definitely business, and it's, in some cases, and Zach and I know this very well, it's in some cases bad business. They run out of money or they can't afford the team, and that's why typically people get let go. I think the way you describe it is like, oh, they're moving to more of an inbound. While I think that might be a strategy they now are going to employ, I can't imagine that was the real driver behind letting 7 outbound.
Too, like just talking to some of the colleagues, they're telling me that she's not the same. It's not the same. Like, they're going to this party real soon, and that's not going to be the same either, right? Because guys that were the foundation of your company running, that are gone now. So it's going to be, I guess, hard to adapt to it, but the best guys adapt and change and conquer. So
yeah. So speaking of adapting, if you don't mind, I want to go back a little ways, because you mentioned you stepped into car sales. You had no idea what you were doing. So that's a story of adapting right there, right? Now I've done power sports sales, which is pretty similar, but I want to hear your story of how you fell into that. What happened? What was it like? And how did you reach 20 cars in your first month?
So, wow, let's talk about it. The day I got hired, I was amped, like I was driving back home and I was like, yes, I'm going to be a car salesman. And I was super, just because I was selling gym memberships before, and I was big events, every gym membership I sold. So if I sold a gym membership, I was like, yeah, I'm making 25 cents extra, I was getting taxes. I was just super happy. I actually met the general manager, the owner of the company, that came up to me and he was like, "So, Jonathan, have you ever sold a car?" And I looked him dead in the eyes and I told him, "No, sir, but I'll sell you." And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, I'll sell you a car." So I went downstairs and I'm at my desk and I see my first client come in. I was like, "Yes, this is me." So I run to him and I talk to him like, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm more of a people's person, so I spoke to him about in Yukon. She played hockey at Yukon. He was a police officer, Ontario. So we just got talking about that, and next thing, and I was like, "Holy cow!" I did. And my owner, he walks down and he's like, "Holy moly, you did it!" But yeah, man, like I did it. And he was like, "Okay, another 10, shit, another 19, let's do it." So every time someone came outside, none of these guys would go outside and go wait for them to come inside. So, I took that as, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to speak to them and we're going to see me. And that's what I did. I also went on Marketplace, doing that, where I'd post cars Marketplace and get guys from all, they're driving 2 hours away to get this car. So I were looking at me and they're like, I think you're onto something, Jonathan. Like, I know marketing your stuff through Facebook Marketplace. So I actually took a whole new when it came to doing their sales, and it was just amazing to see what I brought. And at the end of it, 9 months after, I got so bored of it. I was like, this is not even a challenge anymore. I sold 117 units, and like, I want something harder. I want something where I actually have to work to use my brain power. I decided to jump into SaaS, but at Honda are forever gonna be with me. Just the conversations I had, the people I've met some guy. He's actually trying to get me, just because I did such a job for him in the sales transaction. He's actually a director of sales somewhere else. It's just crazy how it goes, and I'm just so fortunate. But for me, I was never to give up. I just chased the bag. I never wanted the bag to come to me. So I saw someone outside. I was going to talk to them. Whether or not they're buying that car. I just want that conversation to see like how I can impact their day, how I can bring some positivity in their life. And that's how it went.
I would definitely think about, if you haven't already done this, that little story there about how you went out of the box, like you went to the marketplace to find people out of the city, even for that matter, to come in and maybe buy a car there, is an incredibly transferable story to any industry that you're targeting right now. The idea that you were faced with a cap almost in what you were doing. You can only have as many people coming in, close as many deals as you can only close as many deals as there are people that are coming into the facility, inbound, if you will.
Exactly.
But you, in the car sales world, decided, I'm going to go outbound, and I'm going to find other people in other parts of the city or state to come, or county or province or whatever you call it up there, to come and check out my cars.
Yeah, exactly.
That's huge.
And another thing I did is cold call.
Frame that story. Yeah.
Yeah, managers as well. And I was like, listen, like, we have a great unit. Like, if you think that do a trade, or you think that this is something that your customer on right away, like, let's have a conversation. And that's how I got into B2B. So as a car wholesaler, so then we dealerships, we buy cars from them, we bring it back here, we sell it for more. So I love the idea of selling, and hooked on it. The second was at fitness, the gym, and it felt so good making 25. I don't know, such a small number, but it felt so good. Go home and I'm like, Mom, I did 7. And she's like, no way. Cars, it came to a point where I was coming home every day telling her, yeah, like, I sold 3, or yeah, I sold 2 today, or yeah, I sold 1. And at one point she thought I was lying until I showed her my paycheck. I was like, look, Mom. So she was in shock, and she was like, John, like, I think you should study this game because you're really good at it. And at the end of the day,
when Jonathan started paying the mortgage, his mother's like, oh, this is something.
Something like that. And like, he's like, Jonathan, you made money way too quick. Like, you made a lot of money. And it's because I was 19 years old and I was a top salesman at Honda. So it was just wild. I was also graduate at the time as well. I was in my final semester at John Abbott College at the Islanders, and I was also working full time at Honda. So I just wanted it, man. I wanted it, and I want to show people that it's possible, that it was good. It's gonna be hard to do car sales, and I told them, you know what, it is. That's what it is, and I'm gonna make it easier. And that was my goal. It's maximize. That was it.
I love it.
But
that's so good,
yeah, there's so many stories. They're just God, what else is a great one?
Well, my story about Honda, you asked me earlier.
Yeah, what is that?
And that, well, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I went into the Honda dealership like 15 some odd years ago here in my town. and I just didn't have a good experience. I mean, I went on I think I went on a test drive. I tested out the CRX or whatever, a CRV or something, and then I don't know. I just didn't get really great vibes from them. That was like 15 years ago, right?
Well,
and then I don't really remember that.
That was
I don't
me
really
too.
remember that story. But then I went back only about a year or so ago, and I guess there was part of it was that I had just had a small argument with my wife, and we were actually on our way to the dealership, but somehow we got into an argument, and I just went by myself. I was just like, I'm going to go by myself. I don't want to hear what you have to say, blah, blah, blah. You know, typical husband-wife fight, right? And so I went to the dealership. So I probably wasn't in the best mindset, but when I walked in, I said to the kid, there was a kid outside. He came up to me. He introduced himself. He was very nice. It started out really well. It wasn't very pushy or any salesy. He was just like, you know, what are you interested in today? What brought you in? Blah, blah, blah. And the first thing I said was, look, this is a car that I'm looking at for my wife. So I'm not walking out of here with the car in my hand today because essentially I'm going to have to leave, go get my wife and bring her back or whatever. And I assumed he heard what I said. Okay. And so I'm a numbers guy. So after we drove the car, we came back and he was like, look, man, he's like, do you want me to run some numbers for you? At least so you have an idea. And I'm like, okay, sure. Right. So he brings me into the showroom and he points at his desk and he says, hey, that's my desk over there. You're welcome to have a seat and just give me a couple of minutes. And I said, that's all right. I'm going to look at the showroom car, right? So I was looking at the hot new CRV, whatever, in the thing. And I'm standing, I'm looking at the car. I'm looking inside it. All of a sudden, behind me comes, hello, Mr. Maklovitz. And I turn around and it's this like short guy. He's like the manager. He sticks out his hand. He's like, yeah, my name is Tony. I'm the manager here. And I'm like, I go, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, I just wanted to welcome you here. And I was like, we're not at that point in the process where you need to come out and introduce yourself to me. You know, like, what do you, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I said that, but he's like coming out. I'm like, well, what do you, I'm like, I haven't even seen any numbers. I haven't seen, you're coming out and normally I was so used to the sales manager. He's the guy at the very end of the negotiation that comes in and gives me the final deal.
Sharpens his pencil.
Right. I don't need to see him. I don't need to see him right now. And so I lost it. I was just like, dude, not to mention the fact that he was like the accent and everything. And I did it like perfectly. He was just like me. And I'm from New York too. So I respect the Italian accent, but like, it was just so right up that car salesman alley thing, that I was just like, I'm like, you know what? You guys really are the worst here. I'm like, you really give salespeople a bad name. I'm like, you're already coming out trying to negotiate, and I haven't even seen any numbers yet. You want to prevent me from leaving this facility, essentially, right? I just got so upset and I left, and I wound up buying a Nissan Altima. So
actually, I had it for a minute, but I completely agree with you. There was one time I was going to buy my first car with my mom in PJs. I walk around in PJs. Like, if I walk around in PJs in a sweater. My mom, very successful business owner, but she walk around in PJs, too. And she doesn't have a nice car, but we have a big house, so we're happy. But we go to the dealership and they don't even look at us. They don't even give us 2 seconds. And I was like, I think that's one of the other things that pushed me in order to become a car salesman. So I was like, I needed the image that they have about these guys because, there's some women, men that walk in a dealership and they generally want to buy a car, but they don't want to buy a car because your attitude stinks or the way that you brought up yourself, something just threw them off to the point where they're like, shit. But that's definitely something I want to do because when I actually asked my mom, can you do a afford this car. I looked at him and I was like, you're a funny guy, man. And I asked him, I was like, how much money do you have in your bank account? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna move on. So I was like, go back in the car and left. She saw him a couple weeks ago. I was Honda, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not there anymore." I was like, "Why not want me there anymore?" It's like, "Huh." So for me, it's always good to be a good person to everyone, you know, and you want to be treated. At the end, of a shit day, you know, like just do what you got to do and work through it, and you know, always try to make the customer happy because the customer is always right at the end of it, right?
No doubt. Yeah, man. You're spot on there. Like I think when I was selling motorcycles, I made more money and closed more deals with the people that the other salespeople didn't want to talk to because they looked at them and said, "Oh, they're not going to buy anything." You know what I mean? And it's 9 times out of 10, those are the people that are like the most ready to buy and the most
exactly. You know, they have the check.
And I'm like,
really ready.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would be remiss though, because I'm looking around at your background, and I think Mark has probably noticed this too, and he hasn't said anything. You've got a guitar behind you. Looks like a chord chart on the wall. So we got to talk music, man. We got to talk.
My sister's room. I'm in my sister's room actually. She's a huge electric guitar player. She loves it.
Okay.
But I played the trumpet as a kid. I'm a drummer.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Should have said that.
But
you should have told them all about that too. You're multi-talented. You're a multi-talented, multilingual man. I knew I was gonna like this kid. Hey, by the way, we have a. I didn't even say this, and I see the big label on the bottom, but I don't know if he's watching, Brad Seaman. But thank you. We are big fans of Monster Connect. They've agreed to be a bit of a sponsor for us. I'm using the platform, and Zach's going to use the platform, and we're going to let everybody know all about it. But I've used it actually a while back. Incredible platform for dialing. If you don't have already a dialer, hit us up, and we'll connect you with Brad and the team at Monster Connect. So thanks for that sponsorship, Brad. We really appreciate it. Jonathan, what's one of the things that intrigued me, I think, when I read your profile, and I think I mentioned this, was you said, like, it says, I want to be the best.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that is I was like, I thought it didn't end that sense. Like, you want to be the best what?
Be the best everything. I want to be the best colleague, the best boyfriend to know, the best son to mom, sister and brother. That's what I want to be like. Representation that is UFC fighter when he goes on stage, he beats Kamaru Usman, says, "Look at me now." Like to everyone who doubted me, I want to put my hands now. Look where I'm at. Look what I've done. Look what I've become. So that's what moves me. I just want to be the absolute best. When I go to work, I put my head down until I put my head down until I get 3 deals. And guys are looking at shit like, I only have 1 today, but 3. And and I was taught by the best. Like I had the Nicholas McGuid. He was an accounting great guy. Beautiful. I've never met someone like that. The way that he got someone that is extremely off on the phone in Texas to calm them down and give them 30 seconds of his day to show him how he could get their team to operate mine. It was so fascinating. I was like, man, I want to be. So I just studied his.
How did he do it?
He did it, and he was somebody that I'll never forget. When he bothered him, and that's what I love. He didn't care about rejection, any of that. He just cared about listen. Give me 30 seconds. I just want to tell you a little about me. And interested, you can hang up. And one time, one times out of two. But at the end of the day, he would help that 50%, give him time of day, and you can't win them all, but if you win some, you're happy.
Well, yeah, you definitely can't win them all. I think everybody knows that. But I think that's really cool because I mean, I love doing that. Like I love when I could flip somebody like that. I call it flipping them. And I've done it a few times too myself. Not to brag, but I just think it's like when you do that, even if you don't get the meeting, or even if they still like eventually hang up on you, the idea of just getting them from this level of heightened anger, if you will,
Yeah.
down to even almost apologizing to you for acting like that in the beginning of the call.
Some namaste.
Like I've had guys that started out like really angry, and then you flip them, and then they're apologizing to you, and then midway through the call.
I thought you were me this or a telemarketer. Like I'm so, because you gotta take in mind these guys get 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 calls a day, right? And I even asked them, like, how many people has called you today? You're my 5th guy. And I was like, okay, well, let's make this one count. And you just build a bit of rapport right there, and they start laughing, and next you're asking them like, hey, how's the football game? Like, what did you do this weekend? And you're just talking about that. So you fall into, hey, so you do it through paper and pen? And he's like, yeah, like, unfortunately. Like, okay, like, how's the communication? It's better. It could be better. Okay, like, let's do it. Let's make something happen. So what to do? And from there, he's more open to it. You hear him in his voice where he's hesitant saying no, just for the fact that it actually intrigued him. Just intriguing. I don't want to sell it to you because I'm not there yet. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to close all the deals possible. So I'm just telling you how we can help you guys out.
How long have you been a BDR at Terveen?
I was there for 7 months. Yeah, started
okay.
6 months and 13 days, something like that. 30th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was just thinking, because you said AE. Obviously, if you aspire to be an AE, I was just wondering why maybe you haven't looked at potentially trying to get an AE role position. Now.
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually in conversations with 2 companies to become an account executive, and then 3 other companies to be a BDR. And he said after 3 months, we have the possibility of becoming an AE. So,
sure.
My end goal is to become an account executive. But I can't tell you that cold calling. Like, people hate it. I love it. Like, I love the challenge. I love talking to new people on the phone. I'm going to make I'm just going to secure the bag every time I try to get you on the phone.
Yeah, and if you have time, if you figure out your process as an AE and you have time, you have to, like I was gonna say, yeah, you got to prospect too as an AE. I mean, if you're able to do it now in your role and you do it well, and then you move into the AE, like I don't know, like I feel like I can't sit around and wait for SDRs to set meetings for me. Like that would drive me bananas.
Yeah, that is like I had
because you're ultimately. I mean, Zach, you know this, right? You ultimately are going to be, especially since you were in that role, since you were a BDR, maybe you were a successful BDR. Then to sit back and sit there and wait for a BDR to set a meeting for you would be like it would be crazy because you're then in that position of, well, I know how to do that role. Why can't he get me a meeting? Why can't he get me a meeting? So why would you sit there and ask yourself that question? Just fucking prospect to yourself.
Yeah, dude,
do it.
It's so accurate. And I think that's one thing that a lot of AEs that are newer to it struggle with the most? Like, because we work on a fractional basis, right, Mark? So like we get exposure to a lot of different like companies and sales teams. And I can't tell you the number of teams where I've seen they rely 100% on their SDR team to book all their meetings and create all their pipeline. And as an account executive, that's one of the most dangerous things you can do.
Things you can do. Yeah, definitely.
My philosophy has kind of changed like over the last year or so, but like the SDR role really should be like augmenting and adding to that pipeline more so than like being the sole driver of the pipeline. And like that's how you create like a good solid working team anyway. Like the AEs have to have an understanding of like what it's like to prospect, how to formulate that messaging, you know, open those doors and conversations so that when things are slow, you know, they can jump in and,
you know,
and
you
do
get
what
to
they need
prospect.
happen. Yeah.
And the beautiful that I think most companies should do, honestly, is promote their BDRs within. You know, don't go outside and get an account executive that hasn't been in the company for too long, doesn't yet. You know, like if you really want to push promote your BDRs. But for me, like I had a guy name was Marc Antoine, and I was just became an account executive, and I was taking his BDR. He was an absolute dog. Like he knew where to book the most meetings. He's looking at me like you're gonna book some meetings, and I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done." And I won 1 point in a day, and I gave 2 to him, and he was just ecstatic. You know, he was like, "Yes, like there's finally someone that has the same drive as me. There's finally someone that wants, and they're not just at the office sitting down and saying, oh, yeah."
Jonathan, let me ask you a question. You just said something interesting. So you, as a BDR, were setting meetings for how many AEs?
I was setting meetings.
I find that's interesting because, all right, so you had other people on your team setting meetings for the same 5.
Exactly. So like sheet on Excel, and there would be like first AE, second AE, third AE, fourth AE, fifth AE, first AE, second AE. So then we would just put our names and add the company
so
to
it's
it.
what do you call that? Round robin.
Round robin, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Exactly.
that's interesting. What I find really, and I think this is just normal, right? But would you say amidst the 5 AEs that you had, there were, let's say, whatever amount or whoever amount that was probably more receptive to you generating leads to them? Or did you have any AEs that actually did their own prospecting? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So the guy that I was just talking about, Marc Antoine, he Nick as well did the prospecting as well because he just became an AE prior. So he was like still in the BDR phase.
Yeah.
And he was like going back to the phones. He's like, there's no way I'm just gonna watch YouTube or watch Netflix. So that's what we used to do. We do Power Hour where we just get 1 hour in and we're hitting the calls, no thing, and we're gonna see where it goes, and we're gonna maximize our opportunity.
The famous call blitz.
Yeah, the famous call blitz. It works sometimes. I can tell you that much.
So the famous question we always ask is, what is Jonathan Scott Lewis's morning routine to get psyched up for a day of calling?
Okay. Morning routine is I'd wake up. I'd say
Yo.
7:10. I'm doing some stretching. So I have my famous Matt Morrison. She's a yoga instructor. My morning routine stretch. Then I'd read my book for 10 minutes.
What book are you reading?
Right now, Never Split the Difference. So it's
fantastic.
Yeah, Never Split it. It's actually boss gave me the idea, the recommendation. He's like, John, if you want ask any question, just be really good in interrogation, and that also comes with effective questioning. He was like, read. I was like, okay. So I just started it. Then I start calling roughly around. I have my daily kickoff clock. If I was working, then I would stop it around 8, have my coffee, and start calling at 9.
Nice. All right. Very typical. Awesome. I
I
love
do.
the yoga thing, though. I don't do yoga. I should. But I feel like if my fat ass
I'm telling
belly
you.
would get into position,
I'm telling you, it's
I'd get into position and I wouldn't be able to get out. I feel you.
I was my first year of football. We were all assigned and we were all forced to do it, and none of the guys wanted to do it, and it gave me a plus.
And when you say football, you're just saying, are you saying football, or soccer?
No, football.
Okay.
I played.
Just double checking.
I played No. I played.
I don't know what they say in Canada.
It's fair. It's fair. But yeah,
is it football in Canada? No, football's football in Canada.
Football.
Canadian football is regular football, like
yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
I'm stupid.
But,
that's why I'm Joe Schmo.
Joe Schmo, everyone.
We're changing it to Joe Schmo and Zach in the morning.
That's got a ring to it. That just flows.
It does. It really does. It really does.
Well, listen, man. It's been a real pleasure having you on. I hope that it sounds like, just based on what I'm hearing myself, and I'm sure Zach would agree, you're definitely going to find something quick and be very successful. In fact, I don't know. I might even have something for you myself, but you got 10 other things in the pipeline. So if none of those work out, then you let me know.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you need some outsourcing, some outbound guys that make a couple quick calls for you to see to close some deals, I could definitely help out there.
Well, it's funny. I think that's the thing, I think this role, what we do, what you do, what I do, what Zach does, it's a tough job, and it's definitely changing. Not only because of the tech in the world and the communication opportunities are changing, but I think it's changing to more. It's going to be gearing more towards people like you who really want to do the role. Like, even though you're aspire to be an AE, you're very confident at the role, and I think you could be very successful. There's companies out there. Zach and I work for 2 different ones now, but we used to work for the same one. Outsourced sales development is totally changing the game, because you can now go and hire an outsourced company, get 2 or 3 BDRs that are top notch, and they can start delivering for you immediately without you even having to build out a tech stack and a funnel and hire, train, recruit, equip, all that kind of stuff. So the savings there is incredible.
And it's revolutionizing
for people. Yeah, and if you could do it well, even if you do it for one company, it's hard to do it for multiple companies, but if you can do it for one, you impressed me. You impressed this other guy that was on the call today. You'll find out who that is.
Big J.
Hopefully afterwards. Big J. I'm glad we changed his name now.
So you guys are from?
I think he was
from New York. You guys are from New York.
I'm from New York.
New York.
Yeah.
I'm from Michigan. So yeah, right across the lake.
Okay.
On either side. Yeah.
My Brooklyn.
My old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
I used to be an outside sales rep for a building products company, and I used to travel around New York City all the time, including Brooklyn. I used to get stuck in like Bensonhurst and Bed-Stuy and downtown Brooklyn, and because if you're there at 3:00 in the afternoon, you ain't getting out. So you got to get out before 3. And I lived in Jersey. I live in Jersey, so I got to go through the city and stuff, or through Staten Island, which is even worse.
That is worse.
That
is worse.
Yeah, thanks. I grew up on Staten Island, and it's only got progressively worse since. But yeah, we really enjoyed having you on. I hope that I'm sure you'll find your way, your place soon. soon enough within the next week or so. And so we wish you the best of luck. We thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And I hope that
thank you guys.
we
You guys helped me out to start it off. I just want to appreciate you, even having interest in me at the end. If you ever interviewed more guys or talk to more people, I could definitely send over some contacts that would be fairly interesting for you guys. I'm definitely going to be tuning into SDR Insider episodes in the near future. I just can't wait to see another one.
Yeah, we would. We're going to probably try to set it up so that we do a couple of these during the month of December. So definitely have your people, whoever is looking for work that are BDRs, to reach out. Hit us up on LinkedIn, and we'll get them in the mix. Anything I think, Zach and I, we really just want to help people in this role get these roles, in the role, after the role, get promoted from the role, whatever it is.
Sushi roll, jelly roll, all kinds of rolls, or just on a roll.
I'm liking that.
I'll get some sushi tonight.
Sushi rolls.
Speaking of, before we wrap it up, though, you mentioned in your post yesterday that you had favorite snacks, and we didn't hear what your favorite snacks are that fuel you.
So my favorite, I'm actually gonna give me 1 second.
All right. See, he had it ready to go. He was ready for this moment.
Mom, the meatloaf.
We're out of snacks.
Oh, the meatloaf.
I hope you guys ever heard of Crispers. This is my favorite snack. You never heard of this?
Crispers.
What
No.
is it?
Really?
It's chocolatey.
So I don't know. It's barbecue. So it's it's almost like a late chip, a bit thicker. One bag for the day, and it gets you going. I love barbecue at the end, or more of a donut guy, cinnamon rolls. If we're talking that, cookies, but definitely with Crispers. I'm definitely a Crispers guy.
Crispers. All right.
Yeah. How about you?
I have to check that out.
Oh, I drink bourbon, coffee. That was from last night.
Yeah. First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
Honey roasted peanuts, man. Always within reach. Those are always a good thing.
I like my almond. I like my almonds.
There you go.
Twix,
Okay.
bourbon, and coffee.
A nice kick to it. Definitely a nice.
That's gonna be my post today. My post hook line is gonna be Twix, bourbon, and coffee.
I appreciate it.
We'll see how that one does.
Honestly, man, like you guys, great conversation. Zach, I didn't hear much from you. You're definitely someone that I'd love to have a conversation with as well. Mr. Joe, thank you. Appreciate it a whole lot. Through you reached out to me, and I've been happy ever since. Just happy that we actually got to talk today. Talk to morning and anything. To reach out to you guys. And is this stream recorded by chance?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So I get to.
So it on LinkedIn for the time being, right in the event, so you can go back and rewatch it.
Okay.
And we'll chop up some clips of this too. And in fact, I actually took notes this time and thought about what I wanted to snip out of this so that we can share it out. And,
I wrote some time segments.
Yeah.
23 20 or something good there. And I'll go back and watch it.
Perfect. Well, Jonathan Scott Lewis, everybody, we appreciate you stopping by SDR Insiders. Great conversation. Your energy is absolutely infectious. Like, I'm fired up for today. Hit the phones, like, ton of fun. You've got some great stories. I'm sure we just scratched the surface on some of the stories that you have. And yeah, man, thanks for stopping by. And definitely love to have you back on in the future. Shout out Monster Connect too. Again, cool platform. Excited to jump into that. And Mark, anything else before we wrap it up here?
No, man. Happy Thursday. I'm fired up. So thanks for everybody joining, whoever's listening, or whoever's watching the re-listen or the rewatch or whatever. And wish you the best, John. Yeah, I'm all good.
Good deal.
2 and 2.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Two.
Later.
Have a good one, guys.